Hello everybody, this is D King Bay, your book granny here with the book review. Today I am reviewing The Ember Blade by Chris Wooding, and let me tell you, I absolutely love this here book. We will be discussing it in February 2024, starting around the middle of the month. So if you haven't read it yet, I hope you pick it up, read it. I will say this is a big book. It's 24 pages. So give yourself plenty of time. But hey, if you can't make it by the month, that's okay. We're doing this on the internet. Internet's forever. So you can still participate whenever you get done. But this is a good one. I hope you truly pick it up because I'm looking forward to discussing this bad puppy. So if I haven't said this before, this is a no spoiler zone. So let's talk about the book. This is a fantasy set mostly in the country of Asia, which is a fantasy land, a fantasy continent. Think of like our Regency period, but with druids and dread knights and magic folks and that type of stuff, fantasy type things. 30 years before the book started, the Cronins invaded the Asians, and the war was brutal, as all war is. I mean, war is just brutal. War is what it is. It's a terrible thing. War is very bad. So anyway, unfortunately, the Asians, they're getting beat, and their Ember Blade, that's like this sword that represents their hope. It represents their freedom, and the heart of Asia is captured by the Cronins. And with that, it seems to break the spirit of the Asians, and they were already starting to give up. But once their sword, this symbol of who they were, was captured, I don't want to say they said, "Oh, forget it," and walked away. But it just, it broke them in a way that they just, they just couldn't see a way out of this fight anymore. So the Cronins come in and they do what occupiers do. They oppress the native people, erase their history as much as they can, divide and conquer, and ingrain seeds of self-hate in the children. So at the opening of the book, we have 16-year-old Aaron and Cade. Aaron is a highborn Asian, whereas Cade is not. They are best friends. Aaron believes that everything Cronin is amazing, okay, because this is how he was raised. I mean, he's highborn. Cronin's ice is colder in his world. Their fire is hotter in his world. Their poop smells like roses in his world. Everything Cronin is amazing, and he's striving to be just like them. And, at the end of the day, he knows he will never be Cronin, but that's okay because he's going to keep on trying just to be like them. And that's how everybody should do. Whereas Cade, his best buddy, he's like, yeah, I'm just going on back and do my little carpentry and enjoy life as much as I can. They are an interesting pair, and I absolutely love them in the book. So let's get on back to the story. So we have these two friends. They're come from two different areas, but they're both ASEAN. Well, Aaron's dad is accused of being a treason to the Cronins, and he's murdered. And Aaron witnesses, and all this is on the back of the book, by the way. It's in the blurb. And Aaron, he tries to stop it, and he's arrested. Cade steps in to try to help Aaron, and he's arrested too. And the twos are sent off to a mining camp to work hard labor for the rest of their lives. Now, like I said, that's on the back of the book. But the book is about so much more. It's called The Ember Blade for a reason. So I don't want to give you too much of the story, but something happens, and eventually these two boys are also on this quest to get this Ember Blade, okay? Like I said, I don't want to give any spoilers, but a lot happens. It's an 800 and something page book for a reason, okay? And let me tell you, this book does not drag. A lot of times when you have a long book, they be dragging, and this one does not do that. This author did a very good job. He actually needed those 24 pages to tell this story, and he did a very good job. So I do want to put that out there. I hope the length of the book does not scare anyone. It should not scare you. So that's it for a high level overview of what the plot was about. And like I said, there are no spoilers in that. Now let's go on and talk about what I liked about this book. Let me see. Do I have anything I didn't like about the book first? Because I liked it so much, I've tried to find things that, are areas of improvement. And I'm thinking now, closest thing I can come to an area of improvement. And I had thought this was an issue, but then when I thought about it some more, it's not really an issue. There's one character in it. You can be in like a dangerous spot and you know something's coming to kill you or whatever. And this character, he gonna stand there and want to contemplate like the meaning of life. I mean, he want to have a discussion about to you about something because he just wants to know some information. And everybody else is like, okay, you're gonna have to get that information later. Right now, we're trying to run type thing. But this character, and I realized later that was just that character, that was a trait of that character. He wants to know what he wants to know right now. That's how he is. And I'm not gonna say be damned to the danger force, but when I thought about the character, it actually made sense. So I'm like, okay, that's not really a detraction, because I realized, hey, it's just that character that does that, and that's just one of his things, that having to know every damn thing. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. So that's not really a detraction. I don't really have anything negative to say about this book. I really enjoyed it. Okay, so now let's talk about what I liked about the book. I love anti-heroes and I love found family. And this book had both. And I love those. So it made me extra, extra happy. And when I say found family, this is a big family. It ended up being like maybe 10 people by the end of this book of found family. So it was really good. And I know this book is like 800 something pages. I keep on saying that, and I hope that doesn't scare people off, because the author did an excellent job. A lot of times when you have a long book, it's because it's full of fluff. Okay, you will have authors that, okay, let's say you have a character that needs to go to the door and knock on the door for whatever reason. And as he going down the sidewalk, he telling you about this grass, and then they got a flower, and then they got a name which each kind of flower is, and how tall each blade of grass is. Oh, and this is cement, what kind of cement they use, and oh, there goes some steps, how many steps it is. You get my point? And you keep on hearing all this stuff, all this description, and I just want to go to the door and knock. And nothing in all that information they told us between leaving this door and leaving the car and getting the door advances the plot any. There aren't no secrets in there. There ain't no hidden weapons in there. No, nothing. It was just a bunch of description for the sake of description fluff. Okay. This author did not do that. If he had something happen, let me make something up. I don't know. I like to eat sunflower seeds, okay? If he had showed you a character eating sunflower seeds, and you're like, okay, he's eating sunflower seeds. Later on, that sunflower seeds, him eating sunflower seeds, going to tie into something. Maybe they might find sunflower seeds somewhere or something like that. You get what I'm saying? Whatever he used, if he showed you something, it might seem mundane at this second, but it's going to be recalled. He was good at calling back, and he would call that stuff back from things he did earlier. Like, I knew it was, I was like, oh, I hope that he's doing this. And then when I found out he was actually doing that, like, yes. I love it when an author does that, because he understood callback. He give it, and then you get your reward. Play it, reward. Play it, reward. He did good. I really like that. So I like that about it. Let's see. And also about the length. He took time to actually develop the characters. Cade and Aaron, they were both young. They were 16 years old. And they acted like 16 years old. I mean, they both think they know everything, right? Cade, he was more laid back with his stuff. He's like, So Aaron, he was highborn. Aaron was highborn, Cade wasn't. And he'd be like, whatever, and still have his mind. And Cade and Aaron was always like, oh, my world is always correct and everybody else is wrong. The dude is in jail. Everything that he believes did not happen in the way, but he still had his beliefs. Everything was pointing that your beliefs are wrong, but he's like, oh, no, this is just a mistake. This is a mistake. They're going to see. We're the only innocent ones in here. It was so funny. And to watch these two grow up, because they had to grow up, and this book went over the course of months and months. And by the way, another way you can tell this is not Earth, their weeks were longer than 7 days. But anyway, that's a whole nother thing. It went over the course of months, and watching them grow up from this, this idealized the world. I think it's like this, and Kate thinks it like this. I love coming of age books too. So that worked out. And then besides them, you also had this guy named Garrick, who was like the opposite of them. He was around before Asya fell to the Cronin. And he was a warrior back then. You know, he kicking booty, boom, boom, boom. Even after the war, he kept fighting for Asia's freedom, right? So he's the opposite of them. He was completely tainted, completely. He is just sick and tired. But you know what? He gonna fight to the end. I mean, he is gonna die. He will die to fight for Asia's freedom, right? So I mean, but he's just opposite of the boys. So watching them all grow up, and I don't want to say grow up, grow in their own who they are and what they believe of the world and how they see the world. And it wasn't just them. They had so many characters in this. And don't worry, you don't get confused. They had this druid in here, and you get to see where she came from and how she came to being. And I love Druid. She was my favorite character because, hey, she had a pet dog. And as you see, my dog, he got something to say about it too. But anyway, she had a dog. I mean, every character, there was like I said, it's about 9 or 10 main characters that you actually get to see into their lives. They did that. He did this by going points of view from these different characters. There were chapters that you didn't have Aaron in. Of course, you wouldn't see him for a few chapters because he's busy focusing on the druid, or he may be focusing on Garrick or one of the other characters. And what he also did, which I also loved, was he actually went into, let's say, the main villain. He actually let you see what his home life was like. You know, he got off the battlefield, shall we call it, and he was at home. So you got to see him with his family and how he acts. How often do you see that? You know, where he gets to take off his villain mask or whatever, right? And he gets to be just the loving dad and husband or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Just a normal person. We got to see that. And it did really good at playing into the book. It made everybody human. The villain wasn't just that villain. He was actually a person. So this author, Chris Wooding, did an excellent job of personalizing every character. And each one was so different. I just cannot go on and on. I can't go on enough about how well the characterization was in this book. And that's why it was 800 and some pages. And I am so grateful that he actually did that. So allow me to interrupt my own video. I forgot to tell y'all about the emotional journey these characters took us through. And I can't believe I forgot that. So sorry about that. But anyway, there were times that I literally wanted to slap the cock-a-doodle-doo out of Aaron. He was 16 years old, and of course, he knows everything, right? Everybody else's ways are the old ways, and in his defense, it is the adults who got these children, the people, into this mess that they're in now, right? Because the adults rule the world, not kids. But still, you need to learn from the adults. And then you got people like Garrick, who was been through way too much. He's tainted by the world, and he thinks his way is the only way because he's seen everything, you know, and getting these two to see eye to eye and compromise, that was something. You know, I can't even say if that happened or not because I don't give spoilers, but that battle. And then you had everybody in between. As he did the character development, Chris, he did an excellent job of showing everybody's battle and showing how they relate to what is going on in their world and how they react and why they react. It was truly a masterpiece. He did a great job. So I did want to get back in there and say that. Now back to our regularly scheduled programming. So I wish that I could keep going because I absolutely love this book and I love the characters, and I can't tell you too much about the characters because I'm going to have to tell you the plot. You know what I'm saying? But it's very good. Each character is very distinct. They have their own ways. They have their own story. They come from different parts of this country. Continent, not country, of this continent. Okay, so it's just amazing. I really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. This is a duology. I will say the second book is just as long as the first. I'm going to wait until after the discussion to read it because I don't want to mix the two books up. But I hope you join us because this is going to be very good discussion. Very good. I mean, these people, yeah, I kind of miss. I really want to read this second book. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I want to, but no, don't do it. Whew. Okay, let me go on. Now we're going to go on to looking at the book. I have done a tour of this book before, what I'm going to do is I'm going to link it. Instead of going through it again, I'm going to go ahead and link it in the description and up there somewhere. I don't know how that works. I'm going to try that little taggy thing. We're going to see what happens. But anyway, so I will link it instead of showing you the going through it again. So that is it. You all have a great day. Bye-bye.